I remember one day in high school, I was about 14 or 15 years old, and it was career day. And sitting around with fellow students, we were discussing with our teacher all the different opportunities that were available to us when we finished high school. But after being asked the same questions over and over again, my teacher eventually stood up and just said, "Everybody listen, just listen to me for a minute. There is only one way to really succeed in life, and that is by setting yourself apart from everybody else. Look around you," he said. "Not only does that mean setting yourself apart from everyone else in this room, but it means setting yourself apart from everybody else in every other room that you find yourself in as you move through life. If you want to succeed, you have to set yourself head and shoulders above everybody else." It's quite an intense message for a group of 15-year-olds, right? But that message really stuck with me because, of course, I wanted to succeed. I mean, who doesn't? And it was not the last time that I heard this advice because teachers continued to tell me this. And so, my few remaining years at high school were spent following this advice. I was trying to set myself apart, I was trying to beat out the competition, and I was trying to be the best. And it was working for the most part because I was getting good grades, and my parents were proud. But then something happened. I applied to the University of Edinburgh to be an undergraduate. And feeling quite positive about my chances, I opened up the letter to find out that I had been rejected. Now, this is bad enough when it happens once, right? But it didn't just happen once. It happened twice. And I could not understand it. I was following the advice they were giving me, but it clearly wasn't working. And what was even worse, that was by following this advice, I had only alienated everyone around me. I had no friends, I had no support, I was completely on my own. And so I came to the conclusion that I was not meant for university, wasn't good enough, wasn't smart enough. I had failed to set myself apart. And so when I finished high school, I went into the working world and I just found any job that I could get. But then after a couple of years, I still felt a really strong desire to go to university, so I thought, you know what, I'm going to try this again. But I'm not going to do it on my own this time. I am going to reach out. So I went to friends, friends of friends, those in university, out of university, anybody that could give me advice on writing a successful application. And I applied to a different university this time, just in case they wanted to reject me for a third time. And I'm really, really proud to say that last year I graduated with a first-class degree, and 6 long years after I first applied, I am today a master's student at the University of Edinburgh. But my subject matter is not the only thing that I have learned during my time at university. Here's what else I've learned. I've learned that I was and I am meant for university. I am good enough. I am smart enough. But most importantly, that what happened in the past, it wasn't because I had failed to set myself apart. I just finally realized that that advice is flawed. It might be the right advice if you're competing in the Olympics, but it's not the right advice for succeeding in life in general. Because you see, that advice is all about being disconnected. Disconnected from people, disconnected from support, disconnected from friends. All of the things that make us human. For me, success is about the opposite of that. It is about being connected. I realized that if I wanted to do well at university and enjoy it, I was going to have to connect with the students around me, not compete against them. And it would be these friendships, these networks, these support systems. This is what was going to nurture a path towards success for me. And once I realized this, I started making these connections everywhere and anywhere that I could. And they've led to some incredible opportunities over the years, including the fact that I'm standing here today as a speaker for the TEDx University of Glasgow event. But unfortunately, I have also learned that educational institutions, including universities, do not encourage connectivity. Not at a deep level, not in the true sense of the word, where it really allows us to grow. Instead, everything in our education system is geared towards individual success. As students, we are told that in order to go to the best university, get the best job, the best degree, we have to be willing to fight for it. Now, not only is this message very limiting, but I personally find it very, very dangerous. Because did you know that last year in the UK, 27,000 students dropped out of university in their first year? 27,000. And numerous student retention studies have shown that is because those students felt disconnected from other students and teaching staff. It led to feelings of isolation, feelings of inadequacy. So they, just as I did, felt that they were not meant for university, when really, they're just not getting the chance. Also in society, we seem to think there's some kind of natural progression between high school, college, and university, when all my experience has taught me is that there's actually a massive gap between finishing high school and starting university, when there should be a solid bridge connecting them, providing a smooth and easy transition from one to the other. But there's not. And so what do? I propose 3 things. 1, we need to change how we currently define success. We need to eradicate the idea that it is about solitude, about competition. And instead, we need to teach our children, our students, what is essentially our future generations, that success is a combination of hard work, opportunity, but most importantly, the connections of those around us. Because when we really, really think about it, it's being connected with others that allows us to expand our knowledge, strengthen our self-belief, and effectively change our lives if we wish. Secondly, educational institutions need to acknowledge and endeavour to bridge the gap that currently exists between high school and university before it gets any wider. And finally, our education systems at every single level need to not only promote collaborative learning, but they need to promote the one thing in this world that brings purpose and meaning to our lives, and that is the power of being connected with others. By following these steps, not only do I think we will see many more young adults moving towards a successful future, but through the connections that they develop along the way, we can create a more effective education system and ultimately a more connected society. And so let me ask you that question one more time. Have you ever had someone say something to you, and that something, that message has stuck? Educate to connect. It is my hope that this is a message that will stick with you all today. Thank you.